Welcome to Razzle's Alternative Oscars. And here's your host, Razzle Lynn Monstro.
Good evening. I am your host, Razzle Lynn. As you all know, Oscar season is upon us. And once again, there are additional categories of outstanding merits in film neglected by the Academy of Motion Pictures Art and Sciences. But before we get to how the Academy dropped the ball on forgotten categories, let's talk for a minute about how they dropped the ball on some should-have-been nominees. We need to examine the major snubs in the Best Actor in a Leading Role nominations. And for the conspiracy theorists, the one thing these snubbed actors have in common: boat movies! Contrary to last year, where a Best Picture nomination went to a film with a tiger in a boat, how'd they do that? This year, the Academy hates boats like Scott Walker hates trains. Two of the biggest snubs this year involve men in their boats. First, Robert Redford gave a riveting performance in his boat movie, All Is Lost. But to be fair, if he really wanted an Oscar nomination, maybe he should have actually said something in his film. But he didn't. At all. Secondly, where's the nomination for Tom Hanks and Captain Phillips, huh? Maybe it was the fact that he shared the screen with Somali pirates who have never acted before. But personally, I think it was because in this film, he didn't have AIDS or a volleyball. Hanks for nothing, Academy. Moving along. As a monster, this first category is especially important to me. For the second year in a row, Hollywood has completely disregarded the contributions made by members of the animal kingdom. Animals play an important role in film, from loyal companions to anthropomorphic stars. Last year at Razzle's Alternative Oscars, it was the dogs from Django Unchained that won the Animals in Film category. This year, since 12 Years a Slave failed to use dogs to chew on slave bones, we're going with cats. I present to you the best visual imagery of an injured cat in a major motion picture. No cats were actually harmed in these films, but you can only imagine that they were. Our first nomination, The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, unfortunately had to be rescinded once I learned that Katniss Everdeen is not actually a cat. The next nominee is The Dead Cat Mentioned in Her. This film tells a beautifully crafted story of a man who falls in love with his phone. But before they meet, he navigates non-connections with phone sex women who ask him to use a dead cat to choke a bitch. Kitty porn at its finest. But the winner of the best visual imagery of an injured cat goes to Ulysses from Inside Llewyn Davis. Seemingly, this is a story of a young, struggling, bearded folk musician attempting to navigate the music biz with no success. But in reality, this film was actually about a kitty kidnapping, and abandonment, and attempted murder. Our next category is never presented at the actual Academy Awards due to its insistence upon shattering the industry's self-congratulatory evening. This category makes you say, WTF, FML, and SMH, but never the coveted OMG or LOL. The nominees in Razzle's most motherfucking moments in film are Grudge Match. Grudge Match. Your young Sylvester Stallone is a CGI hot mess. I know it. You know it. Who are you trying to fool? The next nominee is Frozen. This movie was supposed to be based on the Snow Queen. That's one of the best fairy tales ever. But you changed it so that you could have boys in it. And it's totes odds why. 'Cause Disney thinks, what fairy tale is complete without a princess who stumbles upon a dashing young man who offers to help and eventually becomes the love interest? The Snow Queen, that's what! God damn it! But the winner is Brad Pitt in 12 Years a Slave. Really, Brad Pitt? You co-produced this movie and then cast yourself as the only white guy in the entire film against slavery? Nigga, please. We saw right through that. Folks, this wouldn't be an award show without a special moment set aside to honor a distinguished achievement. And no, I don't mean dying since last year. Jeez. This special achievement award goes to a film that, like last year's genre-bending musical winner, Les Miserables, it features an all-star freaking cast of superheroes. Yup, 2 years in a row, I am proud to present this award for the superhero-iest collaboration of 2013, American Hustle! Disguised as a 1970s crime scandal, this superhero soap opera follows the days and the lives of Batman, who is married to Mystique, but is cheating on and operating a fraud business with Lois Lane. Meanwhile, they aim to take down Hawkeye, for some reason, at the insistence of Rocket Raccoon. And then they all go to this party where something happens and there's a crime or sting or cover-up. Well, if this film was not intended to be a superhero reunion, then I don't know what the hell it was about. We have one more category that was overlooked by the Academy, and that is the best prosthetic genitalia in a major motion picture. In Hollywood, prosthetics aren't just for your nose, people. They're also for your pants nose. And the nominees are Blue is the Warmest Color, a coming-of-age story about a French teen and her lesbian lover, an older art student with blue hair, and apparently a fake vulva. Our next nominee is The Wolf of Wall Street. Masturbating at a pool party usually earns you a criminal record, not a coveted nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I don't know. YOLO? Huh. But the winner is Blackfish, a documentary about orca whales in captivity. While no one has admitted or even speculated that a prosthetic was used, I'm calling it. I mean, just look at it. This orca dork is so long. I mean, folks, it's just impressive. It is so massive that it can't possibly be real. I mean, it's insane. Just look at it. I can't believe that's what goes on at SeaWorld. Jeez. I mean, wow. Holy shit. I just can't even.
You have been watching Razzle's Alternative Oscars, brought to you by Channel Blog.
It's too much. It's too big. What? It can't be real. Huh?